I am not worried about a government shutdown at this point. I think that they'll continue on and then to try to run it out till December, to be honest with you. But that's my own perspective. I know I'm not speaking for everybody else. Bob, did you want to answer?
Yeah. I would add to that, we should not fear a government shutdown.
Right.
Most of what we do up here is bad anyway. Most of what we do up here hurts the American people. When we do stuff to the American people while promising to do things for the American people, essential operations continue.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and we should not fear a government shutdown because most of what we do up here is bad anyway. Republican Congressman Bob Good from Virginia had a Freudian slip on the steps of the Capitol recently, and it sent heads spinning. Good was a follow-up speaker to Arizona Representative Andy Biggs.
85%.
85%, as Mr. Biggs has just given me that number, continues. Most of the American people won't even miss if the government is shut down temporarily. But our speaker has an opportunity to be a transformational historical speaker that stared down the Democrats, that stared down the free spenders, that stared down the president and said, no, we're going to do what the American people elected us to do. And the House is going to say no. We're going to pass a good Republican bill out of the House and force the Senate and the White House to accept it, or we're not going to move forward.
The group of Republican congressmen were trying to show a unified front and dispel any fears about a possible government shutdown, but Bob Good let the proverbial cat out of the bag and left the group of extremists stunned for a moment.
What would happen if Republicans for once stared down the Democrats and were the ones who refused to cave and to betray the American people and the trust they put in us when they gave us a majority? So we don't fear a government shutdown.
Good got in front of the microphone and said that the American people wouldn't suffer a temporary government shutdown because most of what we do up here is bad anyway. If Good was trying to be funny, you could tell that the group that he was with wasn't laughing. Congress barely managed to fulfill its responsibilities to raise the debt limit this year to prevent a U.S. government default. Legislators are trying to come up with an agreement by September the 30th to avoid a government shutdown. Andy Biggs and his band of morons were on the steps of the Capitol trying to hype it into a showdown with Democrats, but Bob Good's comments seemed to negate that focus somewhat. The Virginia congressman really stretched out a lie and claimed that most of the American people won't even miss it if the government shuts down temporarily. We won't even miss our benefits. He's talking about people on disability not getting paid in a potential situation that would be catastrophic for the country. The same economy that Republicans always display their false virtue for. Good rambled on about doing the job that he was elected to do and cut government spending on programs that actually help the people. Andy Biggs, Bob Good, and the Freedom Caucus don't represent regular Americans. They are bought and paid for by the special interests and will vote against the American people every chance they get. There's nothing American about these clowns, and that is an absolute fact. Sappers clear the way, airborne all the way.